4.5 inches.
We probably want maybe another couple inches, 8 inches, I'd say.
Almost 10 feet.
10 feet.
Let's go a little further.
If a crew sets their nets in shallow water, they risk scraping the ground, pushing the nets up into the ice and freezing them in. A lost net with fish in them can add up to thousands of dollars.
13 feet. Here.
13 feet of water, so definitely deep enough to put in some shallow nets. The word will be spreading that people are out on the lake. See now, a few days ago there was water in certain areas, so this will get a lot of people gearing up to go.
Richard Bjarnason's family has been fishing these frozen waters for generations. He began with his father back in 1962.
I quit school, and the old man said, well, you'll just have to come out in the lake with me.
He set out on his own only a few years later, purchasing his first bombardier and equipment. Now working with his son Mike, the two prepare their shed for the oncoming winter season.
In the winter time, you have to watch out for cracks and thin ice.
2 years ago in the winter, across the crack.
He was on the skidoo, and I was behind him on the bombardier, and I could see a change in the ice, but he was too far ahead. The moment he went right through.
My dad had grabbed me by my arm and dragged me out. It's just an instant shock and panic, bitter cold at minus 50.
It happens. Sometimes you just have to get out on thin ice because that's when you get the most fish.
With other crews already on the ice, Bjarnason's finished preparing for the upcoming season.
No, I already packed up. It's all ready to go.
Pretty heavy. I can see our pegs there. Only 5 more miles to go.
A day later, Trevor and Riley venture out to pull up their first nets.
It's kind of exciting. I don't really know what I'm going to get yet. I'm looking for certain types of fish right now. If I could get goldeye or whitefish or pickerel, that's ideal. That's the most valuable catch to me right now. But what I don't want to catch is tulipy. And November is kind of known to be tulipy time, and I'm kind of worried that that's what we might get.
While tulipy roe is valuable, the fish at this time of year is worthless as the cold water turns the roe to mush. Catching it is a total waste of time and money. It's the moment. Was setting the nets early worth the risk? Trevor pulls in his first nets of the winter with the hopes of catching pickerel, the money fish of the lake.
A lot of tulipy.
But his catch is completely bust. Tulipy is not a valuable fish for this time of year.
It's really not ideal. It's not what I wanted right now.
It's a waste of Trevor's time and money.
Probably should have expected this, but it's disappointing. It's definitely disappointing. Probably in a couple days I'll just pull these ones up. Oh well. It's not the worst. At least I didn't set like 20 nets like I was kind of thinking of doing. My grandpa talked me into only setting a couple, and he was right, so.
Being the first one on the ice doesn't pay off for him this season. Trevor goes home with an unsatisfying catch. A few days pass and the weather dips into the minus 20s. The ice begins to freeze extremely fast.
It's been more than 20 years that I remember it freezing this quick. I don't like it when it freezes quick. It doesn't get a chance to freeze properly. This is a very dangerous time of the year. You don't know how strong the ice is until you break it.
That same day, Justin and Mike from the Husavík crew head out onto the ice, pulling up their test nets.
It's very windy. If you're not prepared or not dressed right, you'll definitely freeze out there.
The wind causes havoc for the guys in their lifting caboose.
On days like today where there's no snow yet on the lake, towing this unit around makes it very difficult for him driving it. It's very lightweight, so it can take off.
So I just got to go pretty slow when I'm winding up. I don't want to hit all of our pegs, and then we got to refreeze everything.
I'd say here we're only fishing a mile and a bit offshore. Typically we'd like to at least be another mile even to start, but this year with the ice conditions, this is where we had to go. With everybody having to go close to shore, there's way more people around us than I would prefer.
Did you see how close these goddamn are sitting over here? Look at this.
I know.
Where'd they come from?
More fishermen in the area means less fish in the Husavík nets. A slow day. The guys are not catching what they hoped for. The fish with the highest market value, pickerel. Sauger, northern pike, and tullaby are what they're catching.
It's just no pickerel.
Not catching pickerel means not making money.
The biggest part was to get the equipment out and make sure everything's working, so when we start fishing heavier on the outside, there's no big surprises. Stuff is still gonna break, but at least I know we're gonna start off with hopefully everything working okay here.
A hopeful sign.
Oh, yeah, something's there.
We got a big one.
The guys land a monster fish in their net.
It's like fitting a square through a circle. That's a big carp. Rip the shit out of the net.
Is it gonna fit?
I don't know. It doesn't want to come up. She's gone.
Good.
Good. That's the last thing we need.
Carp is a worthless fish, and its sheer size and strength can easily destroy a good net.
Probably tells me I'm fishing too damn close to shore.
Yeah, it did.
They're right here, big hole in the net.
It's a bad day on the ice for the new guys.
Lucky that's all it did.
Leave that in.
Rolling.
Leave that in for a few days. There'd be a 10-foot hole.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chris brings Trevor, Devin, and Joel to his own test nest north of Gimli. Chris spots a problem.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a chunk bust here.
A crack is formed on the ice. They have to test to see if they will fall through on their snow machines.
See how much water's here.
It's pretty sketchy. I wouldn't want to go over that.
No,
but you can see it already busted off too, so.
Ice in the lake bays typically forms before the rest of the lake. Where they meet, a pressure ridge forms. These ridges are in constant collision throughout the winter. Warm weather causes the ice to expand, creating ice walls that are difficult to cross. In the cold, it contracts, forming large, open areas of water.
There's water. Whoa. What about on this side? Hold that bar there.
Crossing these cracks and ridges is taking their lives into their own hands.
Well, maybe look and see if there's anywhere further down we can go.
That goes and goes and goes. There's water underneath here. And it goes, the crack goes all the way to shore, so.
The Christensen crew decides to cross the crack in the ice, as there's no way around it.
This winter on the ice is very unpredictable, and you don't know what you're going to be in for. And whoever's going to be on the ice this winter is going to find out just how dangerous and unforgiving Lake Winnipeg can be.
The Christensen crew makes it safely across the large crack on the ice. It's a good omen, and Chris hopes to set more nets on his day.
Let him come with the auger, and at least we'll have a smooth hole for pulling it out. It doesn't matter how much there is, it's just what kind of fish it is. If it's the right fish, then we'll put some nets in. It's a surprise. It's like Christmas for fishermen.
Chris hopes his nets contain whitefish. He doesn't want to make the same mistake Trevor did. Catching a worthless fish like tullaby because he set too early or in the wrong spot will cost Chris even more than Trevor due to higher operating costs.
Okay, here it is now. Stop. This is the very beginning of the season.
Chris is about to officially begin the winter fishing season for his crew, a bit later than other crews.
Oh.
Will his patience pay off?
That looks pretty good.
Just what we were looking for. Whitefish. I think we should try to get some nets in.
Well, this season is pretty exciting for us. We want to add value to one specific kind of fish, whitefish actually. And that to me would be perfect. That would make the season. You forgot tubs.
Never sharpen your knife before the season, and never count your tubs till they're full.
Whoa!
With whitefish in his nets, Chris and his crew begin the process of jigging and setting 15 more nets before the sun sets.
Oh, he's not gonna catch up.
A little bit farther, Trevor. That's it.
Isn't that simple, eh? When things go good, you never know when they're gonna go bad. I guess we're just about done. We'll head in and come and check in a couple of days and make sure this is what we want. So what time is it, Devin?
It's chicken time. What kind of question is that? Of course it's chicken time. You brought your wallet.
Let's go.
Only a week later, the weather turns unseasonably warm. Trevor heads out to check his nets in the warmer weather.
He spent all this time getting them ready and money and everything and time setting them. I'm a little bit worried about them. They're shallow enough and they're close into shore that I feel like that ice is probably going to stay, but they could go. If it stays warm like this for a while and there's a big wind, yeah, it could definitely go.
From day to day, you can have ice pile 30 feet high or open up 20 feet wide. So it's very unpredictable. You have weather temperature variations of 50 to 60 degrees. It's minus 40 one day and it's 20 above the next day.
This is probably the only place I could actually have nets. Like, if I was even to go another few net lengths out, it looks like it's all open out there. So I'm lucky that the ice is actually held here. It's been plus temperatures for the last week. It's a little scary every time we go on the ice. I kind of thought that maybe I would have lost one or two of my nets, or all of them. Like, I really didn't know, right?
You're pulling up, Trevor?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good out here, to be honest.
Despite his concerns, he's rewarded with a good catch. But was it worth the risk?
That is very good fishing. So these are all pickerel here. So this is pretty much the #1 catch on Lake Winnipeg. So I'm glad I didn't set more nets than this, because I could have gotten myself into a little bit of trouble. We would have been pulling back into open water. And it wasn't like this when we set a few days ago. It's just dumb luck, to be honest. Like, we lucked out by not setting past that. This is very, very good fishing for